everybody, welcome back to Carnation Crafts TV. I'm Laura, we have Bunny next door, and this is our last show of the day. So this is our last show from the launch here at Carnation Crafts from our beautiful bundles collection. This is the bundle that we launched on yesterday. It has been such an amazing collection and it has been so popular with everybody at home as well. We are almost at 70% of the stock of this sold out and gone already. We did have a DL collection, but that's already sold out, so it has been a very busy 2 days. This is item number 250401. It is on a show price for you of $99.99, and you do get your free P&P with that as well. Don't forget, on the website you can also spread the cost, and because you are in that free P&P, it's a perfect time to add in, you know, your everyday glue, your pin flare, your foam tip, all those essential things, your perfect papers, your pro print. Well, you have that free P&P there. Now I am going to go through the boards so you can see exactly what comes in that collection. So we're going to start off with babies first. Now this is such an adorable set that you have here. You have the teddy bear, but one of the things I was thinking, he almost looks like an antique bear to me. So I think you can use this in other ways, not just baby cards or toddler cards. This could be used in other ways as well, even just Valentine's cards, you know, just going down that route. There's so many different ways that you could use this. You have the baby blanket there, the rattle, and you have those two adorable little boots there as well. So you can use those for your scene building elements. Then we go on to our delivered safely. Now you've got lots of different elements in here that I think you will use in other collections as well. So to start off with, you've got this element, which you can see there. You do have that score line down the center, and that is going to give you almost like a card. Now you could use it like a name placement, and you could pop it in the pin there, but you could also use it just like a little card on your cards or onto your project as well. So there's lots of ways of mixing those in. You can pop it into there. Same with the tag, you have the layers there and the oval. They will just sit in there, and then you can pop that. You can pop it behind the letters, you can pop it in with the florals, lots of different ways of using that. And then you've got your stamp, your wax stamp there, and then you've got your envelope there with the wax seal. So you can place that on top of there if you want to make it look as if you're doing that wax stamp look with that one. And then we go on to our elemental blooms. So you have 3 large florals in these, and they are, I'm just going to grab that one, they are big dies that you get in here. So between, you get the 3, you can see they are really big size dies in these flowers, and you also get the mats and layers to go behind these, which is so lovely because then you can use them to actually make your card bases with. So if I took that away, that could be essentially your card there on its own, or like this one there where you match in the 3. I'm just going to turn that round so you can see the mats there for the 3 have been put together, and then you have your card, and you can see there how that special delivery has been used there. They just look amazing. They are the most realistic florals for me because when you look at the detail, you can see you've got flower heads and petals there, like you expect. You know, you come downstairs in the morning and you've got flowers, petals, or flower head there that's dropped off from the bouquet. So it just looks so realistic. The attention to detail in these is stunning. You have your daffodil heads there as well, so you can decoupage those up. Then we have our daisies. So this is the one that I just showed you there. You can see what that looks like, built up with those matte layers to make the actual card base, which just looks stunning. I love this one. I think the colours in here are really fresh. They make you almost, they uplift you just looking at the colourways in here. You've got bright colours with the white there as well. And I love that it's almost at an angle as well, where it's been placed on the books. It just looks so lovely, so realistic with those matte layers as well. It just makes a stunning card on its own. And then you've got the tulips. I adore this one because of just the shape and how the florals actually go, because then you can easily tuck things in on the side, or add things for her at the front, and because you've got that shape in the foliage, it just works really, really well. Again, you've got that attention to detail with those petals, you've got that bow hanging off the handle, absolutely beautiful, with the mats and layers as well to build those up. Now our stacked shapes, there's just so many different ways that you can use these. I'm gonna grab that one. And I'm going to grab this one. I am sorry, Bunny. I'm messing up Bunny's Bunny's pack shot. I'm messing it up. Just so you can see. So this has been used, matted and layered on a card, but you can see how impactful that is. Just using the mats and layers there to build onto a card. So you could use it like this. You could use it as a card base, like it is there. You could use those mats and layers completely on their own. You could use the mats and layers to make apertures into these. So there's so many different ways that you can use it. And then again with the circle one, this one has been used for the card base, but look at the mats and layers on there. You get so much dimension. You could see how you can add those layers into each circle as well. So you could layer them there, there and there, and the same with this one as well. So you can really go in and make some really impactful cards that just look amazing, but you've got those dies there, so they just come together very, very easily. And then we go on to our capture the moment. Now we demoed this one earlier. I think this is one of my favorite ones because you've got the two different size frames, so you can make stunning frames like this, which just looks absolutely amazing. So you've got the larger size or you've got the smaller size in those frames. Now the lovely thing with these is they have got the apertures in. So you can see you've almost got like a mount, but these will give you easy apertures so you can cut into them. And I did show you, if you go back and watch the last show, that's exactly what we did. We snipped these out. And you can see how easy they just snip out. You've just got those paper pieces there holding that together. So you can go in and mix these up like this one. So this was the one that we did. Let me just move that there. So you can mix and match these up. So like this one I've cut out in the perfect papers. You could pop that frame on there if you wanted to. So then you've got that there. Then you could pop the smaller one in so you're getting that into the center bit if you didn't want that. You could pop the mount on so you keep the frame and the mount, and then you've got the center bit. So there's just so many different ways of actually mixing and matching these up. Or you could have the white around the frame so you're really framing that center bit, and you're going to pop something on there, and then you've got the corner bits as well that you can add in. So there's lots of different ways of actually popping these frames together. So that is the last die. So those are all of the dies that you're going to get in that beautiful bundle. We are at 70% of the stock of this has gone. It has been extremely, extremely popular. I'm just going to show you quickly the perfect papers. So these are the beautiful bundle perfect papers. You can see you've got 48 sheets in here. They're A4 in size, 300 GSM. So they are cardstock weight. But when you look at these, if I pop that there, you can see all of those colorways just fit perfectly in with these. So it doesn't matter which one you pick out, you never have to worry about your colors clashing or finding that right shade of pink, right shade of green. You have got your colors there for you. So let's do some die cutting. So we are going to cut out our little bear. Can you believe, Bunny, we have got to the last show on the second day and we haven't had a name for our bear. We are slacking. We normally get a name on the first show. You're going to have to name him now because we haven't had a name yet. Unless somebody at home is going to message in straight away with a name. So Bunny wants to know what everybody at home thinks he should be called. Bertie, Bunny is saying. Bert, that's a nice name because it's like, I feel like it's quite fitting with him. Bertie. Bert the bear. Aww. Oh, I don't know. No, I'm looking at him. I think he looks too cute to be a bird. Right, so we've got Bert the bear. We're going to cut him out. Now, I'm going to use the artwork. So we're using the vignette, and I'm going to use some cardstock as well, so you can see how these do cut out. So when you're using the artwork, you're going to print these off. So you just see, and I just cut mine in half. When you print these, you glue them together. We did show you this as well in the earlier show. And then you've got your mirrored vignette. So when you pop your die on, you are going to pop that onto the image, and then you just move it to make sure you've got the exact same halo. So you almost got a frame around the die. So and the reason you've got that there, that even if it moves, you're not going to hit that harsh white edge. So you'll still be able to use your die cut. But I always just place it in the center and then just pop a bit of low tack tape down to hold it in place. And then this one, we've got the Blush Natural here, so you can see it's a little bit different to the white. We're going to pop that on there, and we're going to run that through. So let's pop that one through there. Do you know, I'm just thinking, do you need an A4 die cutting machine to use these? I don't think you do you? I think the biggest one is, actually, do you know, the biggest one must be the stacked shapes. So I don't think so. If you are somebody sat at home thinking, oh, do I need the bigger die cutting machine? I don't think you do. Right, so we've just run those through. Let me just pop this down here so I don't block anything. Oh. Everything's falling on my feet. Oh, one sec. It's like Jenga under there. It's like I move one thing and everything else goes. And they've just popped out, look. So we've got one there, so you can see perfectly coloured in with the artwork. You don't need to worry about absolutely anything. Shall I lift them up? So if you do want to go in and colour these in, you absolutely can. Or if you want to go in and fussy cut some of these elements out, you can absolutely do that as well. Look at the detail. He's got that character there. Even just like this, with the cut lines, you still get a sense of that character from the bear. You can go in and colour in the little bow in a different colour if you want, or like we said, you know, if you ever want to go in and snip anything out, like I was saying yesterday. So Dave was telling us yesterday that he still got his teddy bear up in the Arctic, but his has only got one leg because it's an old bear and it's a loved bear, so it's only got one leg. So I said to him, I was like, well, if I was making this card for you, I'd just chop his one leg off. And you can see, look, your cut lines, all you're going to do is make a little snip there and a little snip there, and you've cut it out. So you always get snippability with Carnation because they put so much detail into those dies. Look at it. His little blushing little cheek. They're so cute. So lovely. So let's go in and make a card. Right, and I'll pop him there because we'll use him. We just cut out. Right, so I am going to be using the stacked shapes for this. So let's pop that there a sec. So we'll go in. So I've got my base card here, and I'm going in with the Perfect Papers. Now for this one I'm using green, and I'm going to stick to that green palette for this. So I'm using this one, which you can see has got that dotted design in there, which I love. The Carnation put the pattern in white because you still see the colour, you still see the pattern, but when you put things in front of it, it doesn't. Sometimes you can have a pattern and your eye is drawn to the pattern, not the front of the card. But with the patterns like this, your eye is still drawn to the front of your card. It doesn't take away anything at all. So we're going to go in with some white cardstock next. So I'm just going to put some foam tape on the back of here. So we're going to raise this layer up from the back. So let's pop this on. So just pull them off. So that is going to go there now. So that's giving us a lovely frame with that green. And then we're going to go in with our next layers. Now I've done this already. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to use your stacked shape. So I'm using that circle. So you get your sheet of green. Now this is going to sit on there like that. So I've got that lovely green. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop some foam tape, and I'm going to try and get as close to the aperture as I can, because the only reason I've put white underneath is because I want that contrast of the white coming through the middle when I pop this on top. So this is just going to go along there, and I want this to be raised up then, so you get that dimension in the aperture when you can see the white coming through from underneath. So pop that on there. So this is then going to sit on there. So this is the part that you would cut out if you were going to use these as mason layers. If you want to use them as those layers onto your card base, this is what you'd cut out, but obviously I've cut it into the card. So this could essentially be your waist that you could be using. So that's going to go on there. Now exactly the same thing again, but in the white. So that is going to sit on there like that. So that's giving us even more dimension now, because you've got that matte layer there in the center, and that's bringing that green into the middle bit. And I'm gonna pop some of our clean and simple foam down the edges of here, just to raise this part up. So always adding in a little bit of height in between those layers. Just get some dimension into your project. So this is then going to go on the top of that. So we've got, so far all we've done is use the stacked shape with the clean and simple perfect papers. With the clean and simple foam tape. It does give a clean and simple look, but that's what we used. You knew what I meant, you did. Right, so next thing we've done is we've cut out some of those circles, so those matte layers that you can use. And I've got another one here. So this one is going to sit in there like that. So we're really adding in different, and the lovely thing with this, you could do this and think of all those other collections that you've got at home already. You could be putting the puppies on this. You could be putting farm animals on these. You could just use floras you've got at home on these. There's nothing. It's a generic shape that you could use with any and every collection that you already have at home. So this is definitely one that is just going to add in to your collections at home. So we'll pop that on there, and then we'll pop some tape on this one. And then I'm going to pop that one on as well before I stick anything else in, just so you can see what this looks like just using the stacked shapes, so you can get an idea of how you can use it differently. Because I think when you see it before I add in anything else, it really gives you a chance to look at it and think of those other collections that you'll have at home already that you can actually work in with this. So this is going to go on there like that. And then we'll pop that one on there. Do you want me to tell you, Bunny? I think, can you imagine having that like that? And this is just off the top of my head because of this one. So you get a glitter pen or like a little glitter thing. Imagine little dots, and that's your bauble. That's your Christmas bauble. So, or you could have a scene in there. You could put your Christmas scene behind that and have it like that. You could do this, put another one there, and you've got 3 Christmas baubles. Oh, she can see that one. Just so we're clear, Bunny started this because she said, I don't think you could use that one for Christmas cards, but you absolutely can. So there you go. There you go. I don't know what it is, but I'll always find a way of bringing something back to Christmas. It is a bit strange. Can you tell I like Christmas? I do like it. I'm very excited for our Christmas collections to start. It's normally June. And we'll be all Christmassy. We'll have to decorate the studio. We could have tinsel everywhere. Right, let's add in our flowers because we are in spring, so we're sticking with the flower theme for this one. So I've added in the blanket. So I've got the blanket there from the Babies First, and then we're going to go in with the daffodils. So let's pop this one in. That's going to just sit there like that. So that's just covering some of that aperture. And then our teddy bear is going to sit in there. But before I do that, I'm going to pop this down. So let's add some glue to our mat. And let's just pop a little bit of glue on here. So I've got, just to say, cut out. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on here. Now I've cut this out in that same green in the Perfect Papers. So even something intricate like this and quite small, even though you might think of, oh, well, it's 300 GSM, I'm not going to use that for my die cutting. It does die cut lovely. You can see how small that is, but it still dies cut absolutely perfectly. That is going to sit in there. So that is just going to sit on there like that. So I've popped that in there. So instead of using the mat, we've used it that way. And then we're going to bring our teddy in that we just cut out. And we're going to pop him in there like that. So you can see, and you can really see how much, even though it looks like a clean and simple style card, with the dimension that you get in there, with the aperture, it looks so impactful just using the stacked shapes in this way. And don't forget, you can do that exact same thing as well with the squares. So you can do the exact same style. So if you do batch make, if you make and sell, you could absolutely do the exact same card with the 2 dies, and they'll look completely different just because you're using that different shape as well. Oh, you could put a sheet of acetate in that layer, and those bits that you can see, you could be like a shaker card. So you could make that into a shaker card which would be lovely. So you could do that. But obviously that does come in the Beautiful Bundles collection. So you can see there, it's 250401. So that is our Beautiful Bundles collection. You can see those dies there that we have just used in that demo. I'm going to grab some of the design teams. So I can't remember which one I did last. Oh, we'll do this one. We'll end up going through two anyway, won't we? So I have this beautiful one here from Sue, which is just so lovely. Using that frame, I love the Sue's actually cut the frame using the, I think it's the inserts, because of the faded pattern there on the side. So using the inserts that you can get on the website, they are free to download. You've got your special delivery, babies first, and you've got your floral there as well. So there's a nice mix there of different dies. I'm just going to spin it around so you can see the back there with the stand holding that up. That is such a beauty. Can you imagine giving that to somebody who's in hospital that's just had a baby, or even just had a baby? That is just so lovely. Such a nice way of using the frames as well. We have a lovely one here from Fiona, using the mats and layers there and using the flowers as the actual card base as well. So you can see that's made from the card base. So when I said to you about how much you get in this collection, if you use the 3 flowers for your card base, if you use the frame for your card base, you are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 card bases in this collection. You've got your 3 flowers, you've got your 2 frames, and you've got your 2 stacked shapes, which is just amazing to think that you've got 7 different style card shapes from one collection. Is amazing. You can see there, look, in gold mirror card. Sue has done that one. It looks absolutely amazing, and then that will just stand up like that. So, you know, you could do home deco items, or like this one is such a lovely one. Vera did this one. How sweet is that? Absolutely adorable. And you can see how impactful it is when you cut the frame out and the mat, the mount part, and then the aperture in a different colour. It looks amazing. It looks like a real photo frame that you'd get in the shop, ready to go. Then we've got one here, oh, again by Vera, using those stacked shapes. You can see there the squares, how pretty that looks, making those apertures. So exactly how I showed you just now, using those circles, that's what Vera has done there, using the stacked shapes. And do you know what, a lovely way as well of using it landscape instead of portrait, so you can mix and match these up. Then we've got one here by Janine, using that frame, so you can see there with the little teddy and the florals. And then the circle stack shapes, using them as a card base. You can mix and match these up and bring them to life. Use those mats and layers, or you could just cut out the base card and just decorate it and have that very unusual and eye-catching card base before you even do anything. And again, similar thing with this one. So Barbara did this one and Pam has done this one. Same style of using backing papers, just using the mats and layers for the card shape in the background. But how different do they look just using different colourways? And I absolutely love this one. Pam did this and I think it's such a lovely card. Look at that. Isn't that so pretty and so different to all of the other cards that we're showing you at the minute? And then we've got one here by Janine, again using that floral as the card base for that one. They're so pretty, aren't they? And then we've got one here by Pam, same thing, using the floral as the card base. But look at that, 2 completely different looking cards, but using the flower as the card base. So using the mat and layers from the florals as the card base. I was trying to see if we had one with the daffodils, but I don't. Yeah, I was trying to see if we had to. Hang on, I'm checking the other. No, I don't do. Unless. No. I have got one using the 3 together. So I'll show you that one quickly. So you can see using them separate or bringing all 3 of those together. Don't they just look absolutely stunning? Like that, you can just use the 3 together and you've made such a pretty card that just looks like, you can't look at that and not smile. It just looks so cheerful, absolutely lovely. Look at the florals, look at the little petals. They just absolutely stunning. But so all of those samples you've just seen from our design team have all been made using the Beautiful Bundles collection that we have on the show today. It did launch yesterday. It did launch yesterday. It's been extremely popular, and we are over 70% of the stock has gone. So it's been extremely popular, which I'm not surprised. I think it's such a beautiful collection. And like I said, when you break it down and you think of your different occasions that you can use this for, with the flowers, you have that nod to baby there. You've got the delivered safely in there, but you've also got, like I said, 7. You could have 7 card shapes on their own in this. So there's lots of ways of actually using it. And it is on that show price for you as well, which is going to go up at midnight on Friday. So that will go up on midnight on Friday. So if you want to grab that show price of $99.99, grab it while we still have stock of it, because it will go back up. And you're also going to get your free P&P on that as well. So it's a great way to actually grab that while we have it now. Right, now I am going to make another card. Now this one I'm using, I'm just going to quickly say, this is from our Delightful DLs. So you're going to get 3 in here. I'm just going to quickly show you what they are. So you can see our Delightful DLs that we have there. Now these have been so popular, they completely sold out. So these sold out by the time we did our 3 shows yesterday. Now we are still showing it to you because we are going to have these on my 1 PM show on Hobby Maker tomorrow. Okay, so Hobby Maker will have stock of these for tomorrow's show, but right now Carnation's stock has all gone. So if you were looking at this, or if you've come in to grab these today, they have unfortunately sold out, but they will be on the Hobby Maker show at 1 PM. You know, stock dependent, maybe if they don't sell out on Hobby Maker, maybe Carnation will get some stock back. And obviously you can click the notify me button for the stock on the website. But as of right now, we don't have any stock of these, okay? But we are still going to show you them. You know, if you've got them at home, obviously it's inspiration for you, and we will hopefully get these back in stock soon too. So we are using the DL card, and we have actually I've cut out the base of this. This is going to be our card base. So this is going to pop on there to give us our card, okay? So I've got my card ready to go. And then I've got the Perfect Papers. So I'm using the dotted green pattern for this one in the Perfect Papers. So we're going to use this. You do get those 2 shades of green that you can see in there. They work perfectly alongside each other. So let's mat and layer this up. So this is going to set on there like that. So we've got our dotted design there in the Perfect Paper, and then I'm going to go in with the solid, and this is in that lighter green, so you can see it's ever so slightly darker in the back. It looks almost the same on the screen, but it is darker. So this is going to go on there. So we've got our contrasting colours there in the back straight away. So let's just pop some tape on there. And then we're going to go in with the panel on the front. If you are somebody watching today and maybe you've come back today to grab those DLs, honestly do not miss out on them on Hobby Maker tomorrow, because they are just so detailed. Look at that. That's just white cardstock, and it just looks amazing. It's such a detailed eye. And again, the florals, you know, how many floral collections do you have at home that will work with this? They work so well. So I'm just going to pop some foam under this panel here, because we are going to raise this panel up. Let me just grab another foam roll. That bit of sticker did not want to come off my finger. Right. I have not chucked it on the floor, thank you very much. It's right there next to my cutting machine. She's telling me off and I haven't even done anything. Right, so I've got my tape on this panel here, which is where you'd pop your sentiment or where you'd build up that scene. And just for speed, I would put little foam pads on here, but obviously I don't want you guys to just be sat there watching me putting foam pads on there. So I'm just going to add some pin flare just to hold this top layer up. So that, and also stick my finger in it. That is going to sit on there like that. So I've got that layer there now. And then we're going to go in, and I'm going to go in with the matte layers that fit that next bit. Now I've done the exact same thing as I've done in the back. So essentially I've just done the same thing. So when you're cutting out, you can just cut them out together. So you could do it like this. I know in the earlier show we showed you how to do the aperture style with these. So you can mix and match these up, and you're going to make lots of different style cards with this, because you've got those matte layers and you've got that space there that you can build these up into. So I'm going to pop in the dotted perfect paper first, which is going to sit there. Then we've got the, actually I'm going to glue these two. So I've got my white cardstock then to grab the white, which is going to sit on there like that. And then I'm going to raise this one up from the back. So this is just going to go on there. So I'll pop this one off. And that's going to go on there. So I've got the same layers as I've got in the back of the card, but obviously I've just followed that on in the front. Now you can see how much dimension you get just using those on their own. So the next thing we are going to do is come in with our daffodils. Now I'm going to set this right on there like that, so that really does stand proud. And I'm going to make sure that I add my glue in. And that's going to just sit on there like that. And then this one, you can see I've just snipped some of the florals away, and we are going to add this one in as well. But they're just so, I love that the petals are on the bottom. It just looks so realistic. So let's add in our next layer on top of that. So you've got that there. So you can see you've got the dimension there with those 2 layers, and then we're also going to add in, because you do get those decoupage elements as well with those daffodils, so you can really go in and add all of the different layers in with the artwork, which is just amazing. And they do all of the artwork here in-house at Carnation, so everything, you know, has come from Nick and Bunny and Jazz. I mean, I almost got it right. So you can see that like that. So you can really see how they all build up really, really lovely. Now we're going to add in some of our letters as well. So we've got some of the letters here from Delivered Safely. We're going to add them in. Now I'm just going to pop that there for a minute. This one you can see we have here, and you've got that dimension there with those layers behind it. And then this one you can see I've just snipped away those layers to give me almost like another element of dimension on here. So I'm just going to snip some of our foam tape on the back of there and pop this on, which is just going to add to that look of dimension, because you've already got that there with the layers of letters there, but then we're going to add this one in as well, which is just going to add to that. So this is just going to sit there. So you can see that really does add that in. So this is going to sit there like that. And then we're going to add another one at the back. So I'm just going to cut that. And we're going to add that one there like that. No, actually no. I'm going to cut that bit. That's going to go there like that. So don't be afraid to just cut into them as well. So make them go how you want them to go, because they look so good. It doesn't matter where you put them. And these are such a nice way of just filling that space. You know, if you've just got a bit of blank space and you don't quite know what to do with it, it's just such a nice way of actually filling that space. Now this letter, we're going to pop this one, and I'm just going to tuck that there like that. And then I've also got that stamp. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue just on the bottom part, and I'm going to put some Pinfla on the top. So what I want is I want to stick that bottom bit by that seal, so it looks as if I've put it there and I'm waiting for it to set, but then I still want the handle, I don't want the handle to go flat against that letter, so I want it to stand out a bit. And then I've got With Love sentiment here, so let's pop some of our glue on there. So I'm just going to use my glue applicator tool and just pop some glue along here, so we can just pop this on. Now I've cut this out as well in that same perfect paper, so it's all coordinated, so I haven't have to think about anything else. So you can see I've used that same green there that we've got in the background, and then some white cardstock there, and that's just going to sit on there like that. And then we're going to pop this on there like that. And then if I pick that up and all my Pinfla stays where it needs to stay, you'll see we've got our card this just, I love the flowers. And do you know what I think's done it as well is, do you know, because it's sunny outside as well, so I think everybody can feel the change in the air, the change in the weather, and you know, these are just so uplifting. They just make you smile when you look at the flowers. They're very just uplifting and happy when you look at them. There's so much detail in them that you just, every time you look at them, you think of, and you see another detail that you haven't noticed before. So Bunny wants to see the card that we did earlier. So very, very different cards, but yet it's still from the same collection. And to be fair, I think if I go through all of the cards that I've done, they all look so different, even though they've all been used from the same collection. And I think this is just the lovely thing with these, because you can imagine doing them for different occasions, using them in different ways, and even just different colorways that you put these with changes the look of them completely. Like if I put that one there in those creamy colors, and then I put this one next to it that I did in the green, like they look so different when it's the colorways that have gone with them just changed the look of them completely. But you can see how easy those flowers come together. And like I said, always with carnations, so much snippability. Look how we snipped into the tulips and made those tulips go longer, so you can extend them as well. Don't be afraid to snip into these and use them in different ways. And then we've got one, so using the photo frame there. So you've got one there, you've got using those stacked shapes as your card base there. I can just keep going. I think we did that one. We've got one here, so we've got one lovely way of showing you to use the mirrored vignettes with your teddies there. So you've got that one. You've got another one there with those florals. You can see that using that pen with that. And then we've got another one there. So yeah, we've made a lot of cards. But they all look so different, and so many different ways that you can actually put these together. But there's also so many different ways of actually using the cards on their own. So actually using the florals as the card base, or using the stacked shapes as the card base. So there's lots of different card bases that you can have in this collection, which are only going to help you make this kit go further and further, because it's going to change the look of them every single time. So it's going to change so many different ways of you doing each and every card every time you use it. And I think with this one, it's one of those that every time you use it, you think of a new way of using them. We'll go through the boards quickly so you can see exactly what does come in that collection, so you know exactly what you are going to get in the Beautiful Bundles set. So we do have babies first. So you have almost like your antique bear, your blanket, your shaker, your rattle, and you've got the little baby boots there, which are just so cute. Like they've got the little bows, they are just so cute. They look textured, the detail in there. I'm just gonna move it over a bit. Look at them. I adore him. He's just so cute. So you've got your babies first. So you do have that nod in this collection for baby cards. If you make and sell, obviously that's going to be perfect for baby. But like we said, you could use those for first birthday, second birthday, even for, like I said, I'd make a card for Dave and cut the leg off, so it's like sentimental to his teddy that he has. So there's lots of different ways of using them, not just baby cards. Then we've got delivered safely. So like we showed you with the wax seal just now, with the stamp on there, you can use it like that. You've got your card. It could be on the front of your projects there. You could use it as a little message to go into the pin. You've got your oval and your tag there that'll also sit on there. And you've got your envelopes there as well, which we did just use. You can see how you can just pop those onto your projects, and they just add so much dimension in there because you've got all of those layers of letters on there. Then we go on to our elemental blooms. So this is the first one we're going to look at, the daffodils. You do get the daffodil heads there to decoupage up, but the attention to detail in these, the team have done such a good job. You've got the petals, the flower heads there on the bottom that you can really build up. You can also use the mats and layers on the back of these to make your own card shapes if you want to, which I just think is amazing. You can see with this one there, you've got your cards there. So using the outside mats and layers, you can, and this is what I mean, you've got a card shape and a card with each one of these. So you can do that with the 3 flowers, or you could pop the 3 of them together, which, I mean, that just catches your eye straight away, doesn't it? So pretty, and it's something very different. It's a different shape, and it really does just catch your eye, and you just instantly look at that. So you can build things up like that one. So this one is the daisies. So, and you can see there you've got your daisy head to decoupage up too. Plus we have the tulips as well. Similar thing, you can use that for your card base if you want to, and you can decoupage up those tulip heads on this one. And then we go on to the stack shapes. Now we have showed you so many different ways of using these. You can use them as mats and layers onto your projects. You can use them as your card bases. You can use those mats and layers to make apertures onto the cards. You can make the actual larger mats and layers like we did just now when we cut that into the cardstock to make apertures. You can make the mats and layers on the front into little apertures. There's just an abundance of different ways of actually using these. So you're going to have so much fun playing around with these and making up new concepts, and you can make these work to whatever it is that you want to put with them. And again, this set to me is your essential set. So there is not a collection that you will have at home that won't work with this. You can use this with everything. And the same with this one. This is the capture the moment card shape. You've got your large size frame here and then your smaller frame. They give you those perfect apertures on the inside. You've got your corners there to go on the frames. And the lovely thing with these is you have so much snippability with these. You can snip the frame and just decoupage up the frame on there. You can snip the smaller aperture and pop that in, and that could be your card. You can pop the mount in and you could have it like that and have your verse in the center, put a picture in there, or you could leave that bit out. You could pop this bit in. You have just got this an abundance again of different ways of using these, and this part here is actually the back of the photo frame that stands up exactly like a photo frame. Let me grab one. So you can see there, this one in gold, such a lovely example there. Barbara did this one where you've got gold cardstock cut out as the frame, you've got the cream there in the mount, and then you've got that lovely verse in the center, a little bit of decoration there on the corner, and you can see the stand there. So that will just stand up exactly how you expect a photo frame to stand up, which is amazing. So, and then that means obviously you'd have to move it down a bit, but you can use it either way. So you could have this landscape, portrait, and you can also pop them. I'm just going to say you can also pop them in different ways as well. So like, all the flowers are stuck together, like that one. So you can also put them together like a concept as well. But that is everything in the Beautiful Bundles collection. So this is your last chance to see this live. We are almost at the end of the show. It is item number 250401. That is on your show price of $99.99, and that will go back up at Friday at midnight. So you've got your free P&P in there. So grab your Pro Print paper, grab your perfect papers, your glue, any of those essential things. Pop it in your basket while you've got your free P&P, so you're not paying your P&P on that. Now that does bring us to the end of our show. Now I am going to be back on Hobby Maker tomorrow, so if you didn't see any of these, I will be on at 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. and we will have the DLs on the show for that. And then I am back on Monday with Lace Cascade. So we have got it's a brand new expansion on Eternal Grace. So we've got Lace Cascade and we have a show on Eternal Grace as well. Back to it. So we will be doing that on Monday. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. And if not, have a lovely weekend and we will see you on Monday.